him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-magob, it's time for the only news that matters. And in a new interview with Backstage Pass, Gene Simmons was asked if there's anything that has happened over the past 50 years that he would have handled differently if he would go back in time. And he said, well, this is such a lie. I'm sad in retrospect. You know, hindsight's 2020. I'm sad that I wasn't more hard on Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, the two original guys who played guitar and drums in the band. Apparently referencing Ace and Peter's troubles with drug and alcohol, Gene continues, I'd never been high or drunk and never smoked cigarettes, so I've always been an outcast in that way. The rest of the world seemed to be drug-fueled. Ace and Peter have as much credit from the beginning of this band as Paul Stanley and I do. There's no question it was that chemistry. And they both had unique voices, unique personalities, and all that. And they should have been here with us 50 or 55 years later, enjoying the fruits of their labor. But sadly, they're not. And it's their own doing. They were in and out of the band 3 different times. Count that. 1, 2, 3 different times. They were let go 3 different times because of the same old thing. It's not even unique. You go to almost every band and you'll find people ingesting stuff more than the bum on the street corner. Except they're richer and they can afford to ingest more. It's sad. Asked how he managed to not get sucked into the drug-fueled lifestyle of being a global rock star, Gene said, well, my shit don't stink. No, actually, that's not what he said. Well, kinda. He said, well, the word no is in the dictionary. Just by observation. I've never seen anyone drunk be witty or intelligent. Have you? And people who are high sound like aliens. And people who smoke stink like ashtrays. Look, I can understand if smoking and drinking or getting high would make you smarter, richer, and make your schmeckle bigger, made you more attractive. All those things that we all wish we had. I wish this, I wish that. But nothing happens, really. In fact, you'll probably throw up on your shoes or your girlfriend bought you. You won't be witty. The next day your head will hurt, and if you drink enough, your schmeckle is not gonna work. So I don't get it. Chances are pretty good you're gonna get into a fight. I remember when I was 13, 14, I used to go to these teenage parties where 16-year-olds would gather because I was always bigger, so they'd invite me. And they'd think I was older. And like a vulture on the side, I'd just wait for the guys to get drunk and then just swoop in and take any girl I wanted. Alright, let's just stop there because it's just him boosting and boosting and boosting. Number 1, I've known very funny drunk people. Oh yeah. I know a couple people that I prefer to be around them when they're drunk. Because when they're not as funny. I actually know people like that. I really do. So, let's go back to what Gene said. The lies, okay? First of all, he said, Ace and Peter were fired 3 times. No. Well, yeah, Peter was. But Ace was never fired. In '82, Ace left the band. And in the farewell tour after that, he left the band. And both times, they begged him to stay. They begged him to stay, and he wouldn't. And both times, he was fucked up, drinking, doing drugs, and they wanted him back in the band. Both times. There wasn't a third time Ace got fired. And Peter Criss, come on. That guy, the first time, it was because of contracts and he got pissed and he left the tour and they continued with Eric Singer. Then they brought him back because Aerosmith refused to tour with Kiss unless they had 3 original members. And as I understand, they really tried to get Ace back badly. And Ace refused to do it. So they went to Peter. And then after that, Paul called Peter saying, look, we're doing a new Kiss now. And and he's like, what the hell? So yeah, they did fire Peter 2 times. The first and last time. The one in the middle, he left, he quit the band. So, all this is just bullshit. Oh, I wish I could have done more. Give me a break. You wanted Ace in the band all fucked up on drugs, alcoholic, crashing cars. You didn't care. You still wanted him in the band. But here you are giving interviews like you cared. Like you cared. You know it. You even said in interviews. Ace said it too. If Ace didn't leave in 1982, he would have died. And then in interviews, you said the same thing. You know what? If he would have stayed in the band, he would have died. But you know what they were doing in 1982? Trying to get him back in the band because they didn't care if he died or not. He stayed in Kiss, got on the road. He'd be drinking and doing drugs like crazy. They didn't care. And I'm sure they even cared less about Peter. And I'm talking about Gene and Paul. Both those guys, it's all about the money. And it goes to show, oh, we need Ace to stay in the band because of this contract we did with this record company. Now, Peter's gone. Now Ace is going to be gone. So they tried to trick him as long as possible by putting Ace on the cover of Creature of the Night when Ace already quit by then. But they didn't care. It was all about the money. It's always been about the money, Look at the Aerosmith tour. Hey, we can make some good money going out on that tour, man. We need 3 original members. Come on, Ace. No. Damn it. All right, we have no choice. Let's call Peter for money, for the tour. And then when they did that in that crappy Australian symphony crap, they fired Peter. Peter was fired. So, yeah, man, this. Gene Simmons always has to bring up their drug addiction. Peter wasn't on drugs when he left the tour. Peter wasn't on drugs when he did the symphony and the Aerosmith tour where you fired him the last time. It had nothing to do with drugs. But that's not what you say in these interviews. Oh, they were messed up on drugs and I fired them because of the drugs. And really, did they fire Peter Criss back in 1980 because of drugs? Or because he was out of control throwing drumsticks on stage and playing crappy? I think that's why they fired him. It wasn't because of the drugs, because if it was because of the drugs, they would have fired Ace. But Ace, no. Ace quit. Ace was never fired. And it was only 2 times he quit, where Gene says, oh, we fired Ace and Peter 3 times. Total bullshit artist, and he's been doing this for decades. Since the 80s, he keeps bringing up this drug addiction. I mean, I don't know when Peter got sober. I really don't know. I'm sure it was like in the 80s. I'm sure the time he went back to Kiss, he was on the straight and narrow. Ace not so much. So what does Gene do behind Peter Criss's back? Give Ace more money than Peter was making on those later tours. So he was rewarding the drug addict. Hey, you're Ace, and we're rewarding you since you do drugs. And also the demon preacher loves to bring up, oh, Ace is drunk, and nobody's funny when they're drunk or high. Well, what does he do? They sell Kiss whiskey. Kiss alcohol. Yeah, he's making money off Kiss alcohol, and he's making money off pot, off dispensaries. It's hilarious. what a hypocrite this dude is. And, nobody knows. It's like Sammy Hagar. Nobody knows how full of shit they are that they won't question them. They need people like me to interview these twats. And if I interviewed Gene, the second he brings up being fired 3 times, I'd own him bad. Because it's facts. It's facts that he even admitted. But he's talking to these interviewers that don't know nothing. They look at Gene and Paul as, these guys are everything and these other 2 are losers, because Gene keeps reminding me that they are drug addict losers and they had to fire them, and he brings up a bunch of bullshit with it. Typical Gene. But anyway, what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below about this whole thing with Gene and his lies. And hey, and I hope you're subscribed to my channel. If you're not, please subscribe to my channel. Click that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gaba.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.